greetings to you. I hope you had an amazing Easter weekend. I was meditating on the life of Esther and how God used Esther to save her people, how God used Mordecai to set Esther to become the queen. If you read the book of Esther, you will notice this character called Haman, who was given a higher position to become one of the officials for the king, and how the entire royal staff at the king's gate bowed down to this man except for Mordecai. The Bible doesn't say why he didn't bow down to Haman, but it probably was because he was a Jew. And as a Jew, he could not bow down to any man except for Yahweh. So when Haman noticed that Mordecai did not bow down to him, he was provoked. The Bible says it seemed repugnant to Haman how Mordecai would not bow down to him. Haman used his power to manipulate the king, and he said, "Look, the Jews don't follow the rules like the other people." And he goes on to say how the Jews did not obey the king's laws and how their laws were separate from the king's laws. So he used his power to manipulate the king. And this got me thinking, because many of us, when we are placed in a position of power, it could be even as a father or a mother or as a leader or as a boss, how we can tend to take advantage of the situation for our own benefit. Even as parents, we have the power to rule over our children. As husbands, they have power to rule over their wives. And as mothers, you have power to rule over your children. But do we use that power for our own advantage, like Haman did? The Bible says in the book of Ephesians 6 verse 4, "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." And Colossians 3:20 says, "Fathers, do not provoke your children lest they become discouraged." So God has given some of us that position and that power, and how many of us use that position to take advantage? Because there's always going to be consequence. Let me give you an example. As parents, we have the power to discourage our children. We have the power to provoke them to anger because of our position, because of the power that we are given. Do we use that position to provoke our children, or do we use that position to discipline them and encourage them and lift them up? Esther was in a position of power when she realized that Haman had released a decree that all the Jews were to be killed and destroyed. And Esther used her power to defend her people when there was letters sent to kill and destroy the Jewish people. She used her power to defend her people. She used her power in the right way, but Haman used his power in the wrong way. Do you use your power in the right way or the wrong way? As a boss, do you use your power to intimidate your workers? Because you must remember, if that person is upset and they go to the presence of the Lord and they know the living God and they cry to the Lord, then those tears will speak for them. So as people who are given powers and authority, use that opportunity to not destroy, but use it in the right way, in the right channel, to empower and love and discipline, and not to destroy someone. That's when you become a vessel in the hands of the enemy. Just because you have a number of followers on social media, do you use that power wisely? Do you use that power to influence, to glorify God's name? Do you use that power to speak life, to reach people's heart, to bless and encourage them? Or do you use that power to please the world, especially when it comes to political stands, when it comes to certain convictions? Many people are too afraid to stand up. If you notice, Esther had to take certain risks. She had to approach the king when she was not allowed to do that, because there were rules and laws that she had to follow, and she knew that God has placed her in that position. And I have to make use of this power. God has placed you in certain position in your workplaces, in your career? Do you use that power to support our faith? Or are you going to stay back and just let evil rise? Are you going to stay back and just let everybody else take over? Child of God, if God has given you that power, take advantage of that situation. Not for your personal gain, but for the Lord. It might be risky, it might be a lonely road, but it does not matter, child of God. Just like how God helped Esther, she was able to set her people free. Just by taking certain risks, she found favor in the eyes of the Lord and in the eyes of the king. And things were able to shift because of her passion and love for her people and her God and her loyalty towards her Father in heaven. So with God as your strength and your might, are you ready to make a difference, child of God? Every position and power that you have given, take advantage of it and use it for the good and not for evil. As parents, as leaders, use that opportunity to build and uplift and love and encourage and for good. And the Lord will strengthen you and enable you to make a difference in your generation. I hope this word has blessed you. Thank you once again for listening. Shalom.